All right, today we're going to learn how to draw an eye. We'll start with a basic almond shape. Now, I'm going to first show you what I don't want you to draw. So, many times when people draw an eye, they actually draw a symbol of an eye. And when we see that symbol, we know that it means an eye, but I call this a smashed ladybug, okay? It's a symbol, it's not a realistic depiction. So let's focus our efforts on realistically depicting what an eye might look like. Once again, we're going to start by drawing kind of an almond shape, or you might consider it a football shape. Within that space, we're going to draw the circular colored part of the eye, which is called the iris. Let's make sure that iris goes up above the upper lid so that the upper lid is partially covering the iris. In the middle of the iris, we're going to place the pupil. We don't want that pupil to be too big or too small because we want the eyes to have a relaxed but engaged look to them. Let's add a little highlight, which I'll draw as a circle in the upper right-hand side of the pupil. A highlight basically means that light is reflecting off of the eye because the eye is wet. For eyelashes, we're going to begin where the iris hits the upper lid. You can see I'm creating lines that kind of angle towards the outside edge of the eye. We can go over them a couple of times to build up the thickness of those lashes, and we can also thicken the eyelid itself. I want to make a little mark here to show the tear duct, and then I'm darkening the lower lid. Okay, there's creases of skin under the eye. To create the iris, we're going to shade it in kind of evenly. So I'm using a soft pencil right now, actually using a 6B. We're going to build up some graphite here so that there's a consistent value, but maybe it's a little lighter in some places and a little darker in other places to show that there's light and shadow. I'm leaving the highlight white because I want it to look like light is bouncing off of that spot. The white part of the eye is called the sclera. And even though it's white, we want to add a little bit of value to show that it's not a flat object. That in the corners, it's a little more in shadow than it is in the part of the eye that protrudes. Now your eye sits down in the eye socket, and it's surrounded by the eyebrow, or what's called the orbital bone, which is a cage that protects the eye from damage. The eye socket's going to have some shading in it, and that's what helps create the bridge of the nose. Again, when we look at your photo, we'll be able to see that a little more obviously. For the eyebrow, we're going to work right along that ridge line. You can see I drew a guideline for myself of where the orbital bone or the brow bone is. We're going to work right along that edge to create our eyebrow. I'm making marks that are very similar to what I did for the eyelash. Slightly curved lines that angle towards the outside of the head.